to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming. Everything Sparkle today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell our audience what you do. You do a lot. I know you're a writer. So tell everybody what else you got going on and what you just wrote.
Yeah, so I'm a poet, and most recently, about 3 months ago, I was appointed California Poet Laureate. So
what does that mean? Can you define that?
yeah. So, you know, Fresno has a poet laureate. Many cities, most states, and many countries have poets laureate. So it's a poet who is appointed by the mayor, or in my case, it was the governor. And basically, they're an advocate for poetry. You know, they try to educate and inspire and advocate for poetry wherever they can. So it can be in the schools, or it can be in the community.
So when did you start?
I started late November, and it has been a whirlwind of activity.
How long do you get to be in that position?
In my case, the California Poet Laureate, it's a 2-year appointment. And so my official start date isn't until probably the end of this month, or maybe
So you're almost
April.
like the mayor. I mean, you have like a time. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's a 2-year term, and I'm going through a Senate confirmation right now, so it's a public appointed position.
This is really cool.
Yeah,
and you're the first I think you're the first I've met, so this is really exciting for me. And so when did you start your writing poetry for the first time?
So, you know, even when I was a kid, I remember jotting down little notes that would rhyme, you know, and I was in school, I would try to write little rap songs and things like that. And it just turned into poetry, I think, in high school. You know, I had some great teachers, and they would show us poets, and I loved the sound of the poetry being read out loud. So probably in high school is when I really started to think about writing poetry more seriously, and then in college had some great professors, and you know, it really went into another gear when I moved to Fresno in 1997. You know,
Where'd you move from?
I was living, at the time I was living in Turlock. I went to Stanislaus State, and yeah, I just moved to Fresno, which is, I mean, the most incredible place for poets. They're just poets here
Better than
everywhere.
Turlock, I'd imagine. That is so funny. That's the last place I expected you to say, but I love it.
Yeah, I don't want to knock Turlock. I mean, it's my alma mater, but yeah, Fresno, it's so much bigger, and it's got such a tradition of great writers and poets here, so I feel lucky to be a poet here. Yeah.
That's really cool. And then, so when did you start getting published?
My first published poem was, I want to say I was in college, in my college literary magazine, so I was probably maybe early 20s, and I was so nervous, so scared of rejection, you know. But that's all just part of it, you know. I think you work your way through that and get more comfortable with that process. But
When did you even find out that you were good?
oh gosh.
'Cause I'm sure, like, you know, you start writing, like you said, when you're a kid, and then you go through this, and then when was it like, okay, because you know, you at first you think, oh, I think I have something here, but then you're like, well, am I good? And
Yeah,
then when did you
yeah.
start to kind of think, I think I know how to do this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I just recently found a poem that my mom saved when I was in 4th grade, and it was a 4-line rhyming poem about football. And my teacher wrote, in the upper right-hand corner, she wrote, "great." And I remember thinking, oh, she likes it, but she was probably just being nice, you know, as a teacher. When did I find out I was good? I mean, I would like to say I've written some good poems now, but there is always that doubt, you know, and I think that's part of the artist's chase, or the creative person's fuel is, yes, there's that rush of a good show or a good poem or a fun reading, but there's always something that you're still wanting to write. or that still comes to you and you still want to put down on paper. So
For sure.
yeah, it's an ongoing thing.
And then what else do you do besides poetry?
I'm working on a memoir that is probably going to take me a while. It's
Is it about your life?
slow-going. Yeah, you know, so I was born in Korea and adopted, so I was raised in the Bay Area and then later in the Valley. But, you know, being raised with a white family or a Caucasian family as the one Asian person or person of color was a challenge at times and gave me a certain perspective on things that people have asked me to write about.
And being a poet in Turlock, there's a lot of layers here. This is exciting. I'll read the memoir.
Yeah, I mean, it's been exciting, and I'm 52 now, and I feel like this could be the time to try to write in that form, in a memoir form.
Yeah.
But, you know, aside from the writing, I have other hobbies and interests, but that's the other kind of writing I'm doing now.
Well, I know people are always like the biggest thing is it lucrative to be a writer. Explain how that goes, because that's, you know, I'm a writer too, so I totally, I feel for you. Like,
Yeah.
and that, explain how you navigated through that.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as genres go, poetry is probably not at the top of the list, right?
For
I
sure.
mean, most books that sell and most agents that sign writers are looking at fiction, memoir, maybe even things like cookbooks or YA, young adult novels. I mean, I read a lot of poetry, and I know a lot of people who do, but it's not lucrative, at least for me.
Right.
But I'm a professor, and so I have a tenure position that is my income.
And I imagine they're really good with you when you're like going to go on sabbatical or do these events, right? They're encouraging of it.
Yeah, they have been very supportive. I got some release time and a little bit of a lighter teaching load. And, you know, my college, I teach at Fresno City College, and they had a wonderful event where there were some legislators who came, and we had students and colleagues read poems, and it was a full house at the beautiful old administration building auditorium. So yeah, Fresno City College has been supportive and wonderful through all of this. Yeah.
And how did you get to like this position? How did you get in front of somebody that was like, this guy's really good, he's going to be good in this position? How does that work?
You know, there's no formal process, but I think, so I was nominated, and I was nominated by the Fresno Arts Council, which is a wonderful organization here. And, you know, I've been writing for many years, a lot of community work, a lot of readings. My wife and I co-founded Lit Hop, which is a day-long literary festival that we have in the Tower District.
I need to go to that. Oh my gosh, I got to be there.
Please do.
Okay, when is it?
We'd actually love to have you read. If you wanted to read or do something, it would
When
be
is
exciting.
it?
It's in October each year. The first couple of years it was in the spring.
When did you guys start that?
The first year was 2016, and we had about 40 events in one day, and it was probably 150 writers of all kinds. And Juan Felipe Herrera was our first headliner that year, and we probably had about close to 2,000 people over the course of the day going to all the readings. You know, and we have them in coffee shops and bars and yogurt shops. So we want to make it really accessible and walkable and fun for people. And it's free all day. So we're really proud of that event. So it'd be great if you would come out.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. And then so a little bit about my background is I left Fresno when I graduated Fresno Pacific in 2004. I went to LA, and then I moved back in 2017. And before I had left, I was involved in a lot of the groups. There was a group called Win-Win, and then now it's like kind of like no more. So I don't. What's everybody doing now? What's the no? So writers that are listening could be. What are we doing here in Fresno for writing?
Yeah, it's great. So Lit Hop, I would encourage everybody to come out for. Also, you know, Brian Medina has the longest running spoken word events in the Valley, and he has that, I believe it's still at Bitwise, once a month. And
Are
he
you,
also,
do you do that? Are you part of that?
I've been to some of the events, but it's open mic. They have competitions where they award cash prizes. He also has a workshop series that I'm doing called Poetry and Pints, where he invites an author to give a workshop for people.
And as you're drinking, where do the pints come in?
That one is 21 and over.
I like it. I'm like,
Yeah, probably if a person wanted to, they could have a pint, but they could also not. You know, it's whatever.
we're going to start thinking our poetry is really good. I don't know if that's... And the next day we'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, that was terrible.
So yeah, there's that. And you know, the Fresno State MFA program is stellar. Great writers in all the genres, but the poets there, Mai Dervang and Bryn Saito, are amazing. Fresno City College has great poets, and we offer poetry classes. So there are all kinds of events. You know, the Book Barn in Clovis has readings regularly. There's so much going on here with poetry and writing. Yeah.
And you're like in the know. You're in the mix.
I feel like it. Yeah, I've been grateful for that. You know, when I moved here, I started meeting poets and writers, and one of them, it's very exciting, Juan Felipe Herrera, who's a former California Poet Laureate and a former U.S. Poet Laureate. He is the person who the newest grade school in Southeast Fresno is named for. So there's a Juan Felipe Herrera Elementary School. So, and this all stems even going back to Soroyan and so many great writers in Fresno. It's just exciting in that way.
Who's one of your biggest poetry inspirations? I'm sure you have a lot. I know it's really hard to narrow down, so you can name a few if you wanted to.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one. Juan Felipe is one. There's a poet from Chicago whose work I love named Lee. He's been very instrumental for my writing. Patricia Smith from Chicago. She's in New York now, but her writing has been influential for me. These are some of the living writers that have influenced me. But, you know, honestly, a lot of the friends and Fresno poets whose work I love inspire me regularly. You know, I just saw Joseph Rios last night. He's an American Book Award winner from here. Marisol Baca, our former Fresno Poet Laureate. David Campos. So many. To be honest, Sparkle, I find inspiration almost anywhere, you know.
Well, so what's kind of next on the agenda? I know you have all these responsibilities with this, but as far as like writing and all these other things, I know you're going to do the memoir. What are some of the other projects you have in the works?
Yeah, so the project that I pitched as part of my interview with the governor's office is called Our California, and so hopefully that will launch in the next couple of months on the California Arts Council website. And it's a program, it's actually not a program, it's a project where I'll be inviting any Californian to write a poem about their town or their city or their California, what they love about it, what they find beautiful about it, but also maybe what they would change about it. What would they want to see different in their city or their state? And so it's open to Californians of any age, any background, and all of the poems that we receive will be posted on the California Arts Council website.
Is this, it has to be poetry or going to be short story format? What are kind of the formats?
This is going to be just poetry.
Do you have a word minimum, maximum?
No, we're still forming that, but I don't know that there's going to be a minimum or a maximum. We might ask for maybe 15 lines minimum, something like that.
You know someone could write a 20-page.
And I'm
sure you get that.
realizing now that we should probably put a maximum. But I'm excited to see what will come in, you know. In the travel that I've done so far, you'd be amazed. Even in the smallest towns, you might think it's remote, there are poets there.
That are amazing, right?
There are poets there, and they're writing.
Sometimes they're the best.
Yeah.
They're rare gems.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been exciting. So the Our California project I'll do. I'm speaking this week at a state prison, And so
That should be interesting too. There might be some good
that's
talent.
going to be very exciting. And then this summer, I'm doing a little book tour with the First Partner. We're going to go to some public libraries. First Partner, Siebel Newsom, and I will be going to public libraries working with kids and teens. So
I love
a lot
it.
of fun things going on.
So what do you publish? Tell us a little bit about the publications you have, the books that you have out there.
So I've written 3 books. So my latest book that was published by a press in back east is titled Scar and Flower. And
I need to read this stuff.
yeah, well, I'll get you a copy.
Okay,
I'll
'cause
send
this
you a
sounds
copy. That one was written over about a 3-year span where there was just a lot of violence. It's kind of a heavy book. Gun violence, some heavy topics. And the second part of that book is my thinking about how people navigate trauma and how we cope with those things. So
And is that poetic or
it's,
is that?
it's poetry.
It's all poetic.
It's all
Wow.
poetry. Yeah. So I'm working on a 4th book of poems, and then I co-edited an anthology that came out in 2020 titled The World I Leave You, Asian American Poets on Faith and Spirit. And so that's a collection of Asian American poets from around the country.
How'd you find them? Tell us that process. That was exciting.
Some of them we knew, and we solicited them. We put out a public call for submissions, and that was exciting because, you know, poets that we'd never heard of were writing just these magnificent, deeply moving poems, and so that was an exciting part of it too.
And that's like, Asia's so big, so you really encompass like people from any part of like Asia that
Yeah.
were American and their experience. Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
exciting.
awesome.
We have, I mean, they're Hmong Americans, Cambodian, you name it, East Asian.
Wow.
It was very exciting. Yeah.
I love that. So where can we purchase these?
You could purchase them anywhere online.
And you have a website
Amazon,
as well, right?
Yeah, leeherrick.com. You could find them there also.
So what do you think? You said you had a press back in the East Coast that used. What do you think the difference between like self-publishing and getting like a little press?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
You know, there's a stigma at times with self-publishing, and I don't know that I believe in the stigma. I mean, I think it depends on what a person's wanting to do with the book. You know, sometimes a person wants to have a book published, and they want it for their family and friends, or a limited run, or they're willing to do a lot of the legwork that a publisher might do. For writers who are wanting a larger audience, more visibility, distribution, things like that, it might be good to think about a publisher. But it really depends. I think it's up to what the person wants to do with the book.
Do you offer a lot of workshops on that?
Do I, I'm sorry,
Offer some workshops in town where they really kind of talk about that? Because when I was with Win-Win back in the day, they were always about like public. That was way before self-publishing, and they were all about telling us how to get published and what's marketable and stuff. So do you ever do stuff like that, or do you try to stay away from?
I
the technical?
don't. I mean, if I'm teaching a class, I will mention that a little bit.
Okay.
But you're reminding me now, and I don't know if they're still active, but there was a group called, I think it was called Women Who Submit, or Women Who Publish. And I think Marisol Baca was involved with that. But they had meetings where they would not only talk about how to submit your work, but they would also spend an hour where everyone would actually send off work for publication. So there might be workshops here and there in town about that. Yeah.
And then now I'm going to really like take a little bit of a turn. So when you're reading, when people like just like me, whoever come off the street and we're going to read in one of these forums, how much worry do you have to have about people kind of plagiarizing or stealing your stuff? And as creatives, we often subconsciously are, because we hear something, so then later on we think of something in a different way. We're subconsciously kind of, and I see that happen like all the time. So how worried should we be? What should we do to kind of protect ourselves, especially these people in these little towns when they have this great idea and then anyone kind of take that and no one's going to even know? How do you navigate that one? Sorry to pick that one.
No, it's a great question. And I think that in media, and television and film, and maybe even in music, but definitely in film and television, I think that is a lot more prevalent, and probably people are much more cautious about that sort of thing. It does happen with poetry. There have been instances where someone published a poem and it was actually somebody else's. It was heavily lifted, heavily borrowed, if you will.
Oh, wow.
But it's not very common. You know, there are copyright issues and first publication rights, but it's not very common in my experience.
Are we supposed to copyright things before we read it? Or, I mean, well, how do we do that? Is it hard?
No, I mean, a publisher would usually do that. But if you submit your work for publication, you don't need to copyright that before you submit it, typically.
But if they're reading it kind of in front of a room, or to get, like, they might want to get the feedback so then they could polish it before they set it to that publication. Is there any way to kind of protect yourself on that?
You know, it's a great question. I've never done that. It's either on good faith or trusting where you're sending things. I think that's something to think about, who you're sending it to, or who you're sharing it with. You know, for example, I wouldn't encourage someone to publish or to post their poems on social media. That's something where...
But then if you do that, you kind of have your, you know, behind covered, because other people, they're like, oh, well, that's their poem because they publish it said by...
That's true.
It's like a lot of people vouching. I don't even know if that...
That's
you probably
true.
have a point, too.
That's true, but also social media is open to anyone, and it's
Right.
often, there's an issue of anonymity, so you don't know who's looking at the poem or who's maybe taking it. But still, I don't think it's that common. That's my sense.
And so are you, speaking of social media, are you on social media?
I am. Well, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And I have a Twitter. I have actually never tweeted, but I do have a Twitter.
So Facebook's the way to go.
Facebook's the way to go.
Are you
yes.
open to people like reaching out and picking your brain?
Definitely.
Okay,
definitely.
I know you're busy, but it's just like you're just so awesome, and I just feel like if our viewers want to.
That's nice. I would love it. You know, I have a website. People could. There's an email address there on my website, leeherrick.com, and I would love to engage with people if I can support or help or be involved with whatever they're doing with poetry. I'd be happy to.
Right on. And so in October, when you do that, before that or whatever, I really want to heavily promote the event so people know about it. So yeah, we got to keep in touch on that. Yeah. And are you good at least on posting on Facebook when things are popping up like that?
Definitely.
Okay.
I post on Facebook regularly, and also soon, hopefully in the next month or so, the California Arts Council is going to be posting all my events and photos of past events on their social media.
So we need to follow the Fresno Arts Council.
The California Arts Council.
California Arts Council.
Yeah.
But doesn't that encompass everything? So we're seeing everything everywhere. But
it does. They'll have hopefully devoted California Poet Laureate posts.
Okay.
But my website also is a good place to keep up with current events and events I'm doing.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. So explain to our viewers who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name's Cassandra Rushdan, and I am the owner of Omega Party Zone. And we do weddings, baby showers, corporate events, you name it, we do it.
So what do you do for them?
We do all of the planning and decorating. And so for weddings, we have a combination of where we do start to finish. So I help with all of the planning, find venues, florists, everything. And so we do everything ourselves with the exception
So
of
food too?
we find vendors, yes, for food. We don't actually do food ourselves. but
No, I
we
know
have-
you find them. Because
Yes.
you mentioned everything.
Yes, we find everything.
So what's the only thing you don't do?
Me personally,
No,
or
the company was. So you said you find everything except.
there's nothing.
There's
we don't
nothing
do.
you don't do.
No, we do everything. If you want a horse, we'll find you a horse.
Oh, I love that.
so yeah, we do everything.
That is really cool.
Yes.
So any type of like if somebody wanted, so entertainment wise too.
Yes, we'll find entertainment as well. We find DJs. If they want a special singer, we'll find a singer for them. So yes.
So any event,
Yes.
but you specialize in weddings and.
We specialize in everything. So weddings is just, one of the biggest events most people do. And so I do more birthday parties than weddings, more corporate events for organizations. And so that's the...
So when people go to a wedding, you have to book kind of like, we have to get you like 6 months to a year, even 2 years in advance.
Yes.
If we want a wedding,
ideally, yes.
Ideally. If
Ideally.
we want a wedding or like just a corporate Christmas party,
Right.
It doesn't have to be that. But how about
Nope.
what's the timeline that you're like?
I've done some in 2 weeks. I've done weddings. Last year I did a wedding that was about 3 months out. And right now I'm working on a wedding for the early part of June. And I actually just started last week. So, so there's no limit.
But have you done anything like a week? Like if someone went to corporate or... Because it was
Depends
small.
on what
if
it
it's
is.
small, you can't.
If it's small, yes. Anything grand. And if it's a wedding that's small, we can do that too. But if it's something grand and it's going to take more time planning and
If it's a
finding
200-person
vendors,
event,
yes,
we gotta go
would
crazy.
at least need at least a month, to put everything together.
Oh my goodness.
But
So-
we do a lot of the work ourselves, and so it kind of takes out having to deal with so many other people.
So explain that. What do people usually do?
So usually, some people will hire a planner, and then the planner will outsource to other vendors. So you'll have like your florist, your DJ, your cake, your person that does your linens and table settings, and so they usually find different people to do all of those aspects. I do all of it myself.
How do you do all of it yourself? You're not back there DJing.
I'm
boom,
magic.
Boom, boom. Have you been back there
magic.
DJing?
No, so no, I have people that I work with, and so I'll just.
So it's a very tight. How many people are in this business right
We
now
have a
with you?
team. There's a team of about 5 of us, but then we have other vendors that we do work with that kind of come in and mingle in with our team, and so it gives us the ability to do larger events or smaller events.
What's the biggest thing you guys can do? Like, there was an event called like Frez this last week, and there's things where it's a
Yes.
big community.
Right.
So what's like? Do you ever do things that grandeur? Like
Absolutely,
Okay.
we do. I've done the Spotlight Awards the last 2 years.
What is that?
Spotlight Awards is an award show. I believe it's put on by Central Valley Arts Coalition, the organization, and so they do. It's just kind of like the Grammys or any other award show where they honor and acknowledge
that's a lot of work.
artists
Oh my
and singers,
gosh.
and so I did the decorating, and so a friend of mine, Tiffany Binion Mangum, who's a recording artist, she's been a great friend, and she's called me for the last 2 years to come and decorate for the events, and so I've helped with
So
that.
that's a little different because you're doing all the decorating and all that.
Yes.
And you don't have to actually like provide the entertainment because it's an award show.
No.
Yeah, so that's
No.
so it's a decorating and then probably like the
Yes.
photographers and maybe
Yes.
the food.
No food.
Okay, super. Okay.
No food.
Wow.
Yes,
oh my
and so-
goodness.
I would love to do the Grammys or an award show
Really?
in Los Angeles.
You
I would
enjoy
love to.
stress? You like don't
I love decorating. So anything, I go to sleep thinking of decorating.
What is
I am
wrong
just
with
like, everything, right?
I love it.
So
Okay.
I just,
Well, you're the perfect person.
Yes,
then.
anytime I'm done with an event, my mind starts spinning and it's like, okay, what's next? What can I decorate? Can I decorate my house, or who can I decorate for? I'm always trying to decorate something.
So what's
Always.
what's one of the most elaborate things you've done?
Weddings. We did a wedding in Sacramento. It was called, what was it called? It was a mansion, and so we assisted with all of the decor and planning and prep, and so it was a large wedding party, and so I literally was running all around, making sure all the guys had their boutonnieres on, making sure the flowers were given to all the bridesmaids, just making sure the bride was comfortable, the bridal party, in addition to dealing with she had several vendors, so making sure all the vendors were there on time, the cake was placed properly, the decor was placed properly, table numbers, the seating chart, all of that. So everything that goes into it is what I do.
What's one
what I
of the
love.
craziest requests that somebody's had that you made happen? Like something really odd that you tell people about, like, oh, I had this at a party, and people were like, what?
I haven't. I haven't had anything crazy.
Like you didn't have like snakes, like
No.
You can't, okay.
No,
Okay.
goodness, I've been blessed. No, I've been definitely. I've had.
No one rode through an elephant.
Nope.
Okay.
Not yet. Goodness, knock on wood. Where's the wood? Not yet. So no, nothing crazy. It's just, it's what I love to do, and so I don't find a lot of stress in it. It's actually peaceful for me.
What's the furthest that you guys travel for these types?
So right now, I've done some events in the Bay Area, and I have done. I'm actually opening up to the Los Angeles area, and so Fresno is, of course, our home. And so this is where we do the majority of events. But I've done some in the Bay Area, and I'm working on branching into Los Angeles.
How though? I mean, that's just so much work. Then you have to be there, and then you have to learn everything that they have there to do that. I mean, isn't that's gotta be? I'm sorry, my mind is getting blown right now
You're
talking
like,
to you.
how does this work? It's actually really simple. It's just a lot of stuff is online, and so you can always tour a venue online. And so really, I'm a visual person. I just need to see the inside of the room. Once I see it, then my mind will just go to work, start putting the pieces together. You tell me what you want. If you're like, I want drapery, I want it hanging from the ceiling, then I can visualize that and start putting it together.
But is it hard to do these other cities because you don't know? You have a team here that you work with, so you know, okay, that entertainment, that music, that DJ, and then you might not have that over there. So
No, not at all. Google.
No. You just
Google.
forge
And so
relationships last
right,
minute.
I'm starting, yes. And so that would be when we would start outsourcing if I needed to. But like I said, a lot of stuff I do myself, so I bring everything with me. And so we've had the van full of pipes and drapes and candy table
can
stuff,
only
supplies
imagine.
and everything. And we've traveled up the highway and got it done and came right back home.
Okay, so we'll get a little personal, nitty gritty. What's the
Okay.
lowest budget you've worked with, and like the highest budget we were for an event, like in ballpark?
Gosh. So, so I started out doing birthday parties for my son. That's how I started. And so, of course, that was my own money. And so from there, I started working with friends, family, and I did a lot of events for free for years. For free.
No.
Until my husband got to the point where he was just like, okay, if you're going to do this, you should at least be getting paid. You're too creative. The work you do is too amazing for you to just do it for free. I love it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm getting paid. Okay. You know. So I've worked with no budget. I've had a $300 budget. I've had thousands of dollars worth of a budget. So I'm in a different place now.
Well, you've only got to get some, but people paid you for supplies, right? When you were doing stuff for free.
Sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
At times.
Wow.
So yeah. And so we've grown from, I've grown from there. And so now we definitely, we work with quotes. And so anyone that's interested in having us host their event, we send them a quote first. And so yeah.
Awesome. No, that's really, really cool that you guys work with, but that you're willing to work with small ones and then big ones.
Yes.
So you've had, for the weddings though, you've had to flip like amazing budgets, so.
Yes,
What's like?
we have.
I want to know what the most expensive wedding. Because I hear people go crazy these days.
They do. So the last wedding I was working on last year was roughly between, well, the bride wanted to stay in a $10,000 budget, but what she wanted was more of a $25,000 budget, and so she had to spend a little bit more,
wow.
than what she wanted. And so it's, once people find out what goes into a wedding, then
Yeah.
you're able to wrap your mind around, oh my goodness, you know, this stuff costs a lot of money. And so people don't realize, just even from small events to big events, everything costs, from forks to napkins to tablecloths, everything is a cost. And so people generally have an idea in their mind like, oh, I want to throw my kid a birthday party and I only want to spend $200. But I want a giraffe and I want a table settings and I want centerpieces and I want cupcakes
You
and
gotta get them
a
back to
candy
reality.
buffet. And it's like, okay, so here's what you want and here's what it's going
Here's
to cost
reality.
for what you want. And so we tend to get that. But again, I love what I do, so I work with everyone.
So what happens when you have multiple events on the same night? I imagine that's happened.
We split our crew. So yeah, just depends. We stay within the limits of what we can do. I've had double events, one where I had to just do some pipe and drapery and set everything up. I was done, and then I headed to the other event. And so it works.
So about 2 events is probably what you guys want to handle the same night?
Yes, yeah.
You don't want to handle
Depends on what it is. If it's a wedding, then more than likely we probably just focus on that wedding for that day. Yeah.
So have you ever tell people no because you didn't have the time to?
I haven't had to yet. I haven't had anything too large fall in our lap on the same day. Yeah.
Wow. And you guys also do like the porta potties too and stuff like that. You'll get those.
We do, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do it all.
You really, I love this. So how long have you guys been a company?
The company, I believe we started it about 10 years ago.
And then you've been involved since
The whole
the
10 years.
beginning.
Yes. Oh, yeah, from the
And
beginning.
then the
yeah.
team that you have now, who has been with you from the beginning? You
My
still-
husband, yes, he's been with me.
So he does events too?
He helps me, yes, he does. And he's even like, I'll put something like this and he'll come and move it and I'll look and be like, who moved this? And I'll look at him and be like,
Wow.
it looks better like that. And so
That
we
is
balance each
funny.
other.
I love
Sometimes he'll
that.
see something that I don't see and he'll be like, babe, you should do this like that. And I'll be like, okay, that looks good actually.
That is so amazing.
So yeah, we started together. My son, he's 14 now. He helps sometimes, and then we have our our team that we pull on. Just depends on what it is. But the 3 of us, we work together very well. We can get in and get out.
Get in and get out. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
What's one of the biggest snags that's happened?
Snags.
That you then you learn from that where it's like, oh my goodness, that's something that you just didn't expect.
I try to be as prepared as possible. I do.
I usually
I
hear
think
about
I kind
weather. Sometimes I hear weather. That's when I hear stories about like people.
I did have an event where we did balloons, and it was a few years, and it was in July. It was extremely hot, probably like, I don't know, 110 degrees. And so they wanted a balloon arch, and the balloons, as we're putting the arch up, start popping.
Oh my God.
It was so hot. We were just dripping in sweat. Balloons popping everywhere. We had balloons everywhere.
The
They were
minute
just
you put
popping.
up, oh my goodness.
It was a headache, but we had to put more balloons on, and so the show must go on.
There was really no way to like stop it from popping. You just kept
in
on
that
putting
heat, no. Not in that heat.
Did you
no.
put like a fan on it?
No. So one of my team members, they were like, we shouldn't do balloons in the summer anymore. And I was just like, no, we'll do them. We'll just let them know. If they pop, we'll just have to put more on. But I think that was one of the biggest issues we had. But yeah. we've been
Okay, so
fortunate.
where do we get a hold of you to have you plan our events?
So you can book us on our website, which is www.omegapartyzone.com, or you can give us a call at 559-825-1190.
And then I was also wondering, how did COVID mess everything up with you guys? I know there's
Oh,
the
goodness.
supply and demand's been crazy because of that too. Tell us some of that,
Yeah.
like the challenges you had.
Well, during COVID, we actually just took a break. No one was planning parties. And so we took a nice break and focused on family. And once things kind of started to seem a little bit normal, we started getting calls again, and we started back up.
But did you face any like supply and demand problems afterwards? Because I know some things were just not as accessible. You can't get things as fast. And some things went up in price. So how did that affect?
Things actually we did, so events that we did prior, repeat customers that we have, whereas we may have given them a quote to do their event at a certain price. When supplies started going up, we were like, okay, so now we have to charge a little bit more. Everything has gone up.
Yeah,
Food,
exactly.
Gas, everything. And so I haven't had an issue where anyone's been like, oh my gosh, your prices have gone up. I think people are aware of the times that we're in now. And we're not crazy to where we're just hiking prices up like crazy. It's just, you know, it's a bump. Everyone has to make money. And so we did have to increase our prices.
What was one of the worst challenges of all that? That you were just like, whoa, I can't believe that. Was that flowers? Like, what happened? What was the biggest one?
The biggest challenge is me. The challenge is me, because I'm always like, I did not want to budge. And so in order to make things make sense, you have to increase. And so for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to be like, is she crazy? She's raising her prices. She wants to charge more. She's still doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And so we're, of course, everyone's in it to make money, but I still want people to be happy. And so the biggest challenge was me wrapping my head around that. It's like, you gotta charge more, Cassandra. You gotta go up a little. So that was the hurdle for me, is my own inner demon. Like,
what's your social media so we can kind of see some of the parties you've done or some of your elaborate displays?
So we are on Facebook, and we have our website. And so all of our parties and previous events that we've done, we put on there.
Oh, so you're really good about updating. I love that. Okay, so what's the Facebook again?
Facebook is Omega Party Zone.
Okay,
Yes.
and then not Instagram
Our website,
yet.
no.
And the website's omegapartyzones.com?
.com, yes.
Perfect, that's easy.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on my
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And
Thank you
hopefully
for
we'll work
having me.
together. If I've planned something
Absolutely.
elaborate, I'm going to come to you, girl.
I'm going to have to throw you a party for your birthday.
I did that. I wish I had met you last week. That's what I was
Yes.
just thinking.
I'll
oh my
get you next
goodness.
year. I'll get you
We'll
next
do
year.
next year. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Cassandra.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on Everything Sparkle today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell our viewers who you are and what you do.
All right, my name is Sheri Myers. I'm assistant manager at Discovery Shop. We are a nonprofit resale boutique that benefits the American Cancer Society.
I love that. Wow, all the way, like everything goes.
Oh yeah, so everything we sell is donated to the shop. Last year, we put about $250,000 back to the organization. It funds research, it funds education, it funds support programs.
And that's here in Fresno?
That's here in town. That's money that's coming straight from the Central Valley that goes back to the cause.
And so when we are helping people with cancer, are we helping people in the valley as well, or is it distributed
It's
all the way?
distributed all over, but it does come back here. I've gone and spoken at different events and had lots of people come up to me and tell me how the organization has benefited their family personally, and the different things that they use and the resources available. It makes a big difference.
See, but you see people donate this stuff to the store,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the money from the store goes to the research. So what are the things we can buy and donate?
We sell all the things. We have home decor, we have clothing, we have shoes, we have handbags, we have jewelry, we have furniture, you name it. So it's a really good place to make your first stop.
So it's like a
because-
thrift shop.
Yes,
So
but it's a boutique.
I know,
we
I-
only take the really nice stuff.
I love it.
We make it beautiful. We actually have a lot of decorators that will kind of throw things together and jazz things up. Decoupage just makes it really amazing.
Because I have a lot of clothes to get. I mean, and I have good clothes. I mean,
Dude,
so
I can
it's-
see that.
yeah. So
But
no,
you know,
that's
you love
great.
things for a while, you get tired of them, send them our way. Come find something else.
I'm
We
so
have
glad
beautiful
about that. That's
things.
what I'm really excited about. Because I'm like I said, I want to know sometimes where to give my stuff.
It goes to a great cause. It really does.
Nothing better than this.
Yes, and so we actually, and we try to make things fun. We'll have different events and pop-up sales. We just put out a black and white event. this last week, so we still got lots of nice black and white merchandise.
Oh, I've been wanting to do a black and white room forever.
Right? We've got home decor though, clothes, shoes, bags, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so I have a question. So what if I have something real? What if I have like a desk, a TV, like a bunch of big things, but I don't want to transport it? Do you have someone that can come and pick all that stuff up for me?
We unfortunately do not have a truck that picks up for us, but if you can get it our way, we'll make some room for it.
Okay.
I mean, if it's really a lot of things, call the shop, send us pictures, we'll see what we can do.
And then what about refurbishing stuff? So what if we have like a desk that's in great shape, but then needs to be buffed and painted and all that? How do you work on that?
You know, a lot of times we'll just mark things a good price because we have a lot of people looking for things that they want to use for their DIY projects. So come find it at our shop.
Okay. So the people can do that are purchasing it.
Yes.
Can do it, okay.
But again, we do have our decorators that make things pretty. We have one, her name is Jackie. She's awesome. She's been with us a long time, but she decoupages everything and makes everything fabulous.
And so for clothes and everything, both sexes, men and women and children.
Yep.
Babies? How big is the store, girl?
You know, big enough to make it work.
I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
It's true. We're located on the northwest corner of Bullard and West in the same lot as the Save Mart.
Okay.
We're right next to Beerock Shop, too. It's always a good thing to go hand in hand,
both,
get some
right.
lunch, do some shopping. Makes for a good afternoon.
I love that. Okay, so I definitely got to come out and check it all out. And how are the prices for? I know it's going back to. I'm not trying to be, but is it a nice, like, well priced so that you know?
No, you're definitely saving by coming to our shop. I mean, we're priced way under retail, and again, we only put out top quality merchandise. We have everything steamed and looking real nice by the time it hits the floor. But we have great prices. I mean, we carry brands like Marc Jacobs, Eileen Fisher. We've got 7 brand jeans, Citizens of Humanity. You never know what's going to come in the store, but we have good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're saving, like, I'd rather get that than go get something brand new that's going to go out of style and spend all that.
It's true. And you know what? Fashion is honestly a terrible polluter. So
right, yeah.
if you come buy something that someone's already bought before, you're saving the whole planet.
So home decor, so do you do like for events, like for Christmas decorations, Halloween decorations? That's another thing that gets pricey that you only use.
Come find it here.
And then we can redo. Oh, I have a lot of Christmas things to give out. And then as a like Party City type of stuff where it's like costumey for like St. Patty's Day and stuff. Do you have anything or on Halloween costumes?
There's
like
no standard thing we have because everything is donated.
Have you seen that though? Have you seen?
Yes.
So you've
There's
seen.
not
Okay.
much I haven't seen at this point. We get all of the things. You never know what's going to show. We have people that come in every single day to make sure they don't miss anything, and you really have to, and that's what you want to do because you never know what's going to walk through that door.
And you guys are taking costumes. Okay, well this is really. I love this. Okay, so tell us some of the things. How long have you guys been around?
Oh, for quite a while, actually. We've been in town over 20 years. We used to be at a different location. We've been where we are for about 20, though.
Who started all this?
You know what? It was actually a socialite from Los Angeles. Her name was Denise Noel. And she just was well-to-do and gathered up her friends and said, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys give us your nice stuff and we'll auction it off and we'll sell it for the American Cancer Society. And it grew to this huge thing because we have shops all the way up to Washington and all the way out as far as Ohio. We are all over California.
Wow, so it's like a chain.
Yeah, it is. And it's all going towards the same place, though, and doing good things.
And the employees get paid, though, right?
So we are actually a volunteer-based organization. We have like a manager, assistant manager that's paid positions, but most of our staff is volunteers. So that in itself to me is amazing. These people, they're here for the cause. There's so many people that are touched by cancer in all sorts of ways. We have survivors, we have people who have watched their family pass on from this, and they just want to make a difference, and this is how you can do it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows somebody that wasn't affected by cancer at this point.
It's true.
And so what's your personal knowledge? How did you get started with them?
Yeah, so my mother actually is a longtime shopper. It has been her favorite store for as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And I just happened to be looking for a job. It was about 2 years ago, right on the back end of COVID. And I saw it come up, and I said, this might be a good fit. So I've been there about a little over 2 years now, but it's everything I hoped it could be and more. It's really a blessing working with all these ladies that are just working so hard to make a difference.
What about makeup?
Every now and again, we will get it in. If we get donations that are new, we'll sell those. So
Yeah. And then how did COVID affect everything, you know, like with the thrift shops and like getting other, I mean, how?
It was rough. I think it was rough on everybody. But, you know, things have picked back up now, so we're still working on getting donations back up. So
Well, what about cleaning? Because it's like, it's hard to kind of get things and make sure it's like,
So our clothes and
germ-free
things, we
sometimes.
steam everything.
Okay.
So that's all dealt with like that, and everything else gets cleaned with whatever appropriate product will handle that.
and toys as well. I mean, you have everything. Is there
It all.
something?
Yeah, it's all true. So I mean, we're a real good first stop shop whenever you're looking for anything. Gifts too. We do get a lot of really nice jewelry and really nice home decor.
Oh, I
it's a
bet
perfect place to find like a really beautiful platter if you've got like a housewarming gift or something you want to take somewhere. Make it pretty, leave the plate. You're out $5.
What about wedding dresses? I'm sure you
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's what you
I've
never
heard of some
know.
cool finds like that. What have you seen come through?
We've had, like I said, there's not much I haven't seen. Some of the really cool pieces we've had come through. We have one guy who's brought us some really awesome pieces from like Germany and
wow.
things from the East Coast. We do get a lot of vintage clothing, home decor. Like, you just really never know, though.
And so it's all 100% to the American Cancer Society.
Yeah, so we don't have a local office in town anymore, but there are resources available. There's a 1-800 number with live operators at all times that you can call. Can I plug that number real
Oh,
quick?
definitely.
All
Plug it
right, I
all.
brought my notes. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1-800-227-2345. There is people to direct you if you have questions, if you've been diagnosed recently, or you need a screening, you're looking to find out about treatment or prevention, you want to make donations. There's programs for transportation if you need help getting to your treatment. They can provide lodging if it's needed. Like I said, I've had people reach out to me and say, no, you know what, American Cancer Society has helped my family because
So it's a one-stop shop where we can get all of that. That's amazing.
yes, and online you can find us at cancer.org. Again, all that information will be there, but all of these funds, it goes back to research, live support, education, and support programs.
Wow. So if you're just stage 1 and you just found out you have cancer and have like really broke and don't know what to do, you could really just
Call
call
this
them
number.
and say,
We'll send you to the right places.
that's incredible. Wow.
And also, if you're a patient in treatment and you need a wig or you need a head cover, come to the shop, let us know. We will give you one for free.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So what kind of events do you guys have? I imagine you do a lot. What kind of like?
We have
Oh,
fun.
there we go. I'm like, that's what I'm waiting for.
We had fun. So like I said, we just popped out Black and White. That's been going really well. This next month, we're going to have a few things coming up. We are going to do a garden event mid-month. We might even actually have an Easter egg hunt right before Easter, and you can find some coupons and some candy and have a nice day of shopping.
How fun.
But the garden will be good. We'll do something right around Earth Day, give plants a chance. We'll have lots of live succulents, beautiful arrangements come in. And the one we're really excited about, we are going to throw a whole event based off the Netflix show Emily in Paris. So we've been saving all of these fabulous clothes, bags, shoes, jewelry, all of these amazing
Oh
things.
my gosh, I'm so excited.
And that one is actually, so our typical hours, we're typically open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 5:30, and Saturday, 9:30 to 5. The Emily in Paris is scheduled on a Sunday, just to make it extra fun. We'll have some refreshments and make a really nice afternoon out of it, but it is scheduled for April 23rd. So we're on Facebook. On Facebook, we are American Cancer Society Discovery Shop /Fresno. And on Instagram, we are ACS_Discovery Shop _Fresno.
And do you guys show the stuff that's in the store?
Yes.
Oh
If you
my
see
goodness.
something you like, give us a call. If we still have it, we'll put it aside for you.
This is so cool. I love this. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah, we do try to have lots of fun.
And then do you guys ever get to go to the galas like where it's like the researchers, like all the American Cancer Society thing, and then you guys combine like that since you are kind of working with them?
Like I said, since the office closed, everything's a little bit spread out. We do try to make a presence, like at the women's conference every year.
Okay.
Or if there's different, like health fairs and things going on, we do what we can.
Because you guys are working together, so I was like, that'd be really cool to kind of see like all the progress and all the stuff that you guys have done together.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? So we did just get together all the Discovery shops. We had like a store-wide conference not that long ago. And it was amazing because every store is so different. Again, nobody has the same stuff.
Right.
You never know what's going to walk in the door. And every neighborhood is different and every environment is different. So all these shops are doing amazing things, you know, and everyone is different. And so it's definitely, when you're traveling, worth a stop to go visit all the different shops and see how things are.
Well, I'm excited to donate. Like I said, I have stuff, and I just didn't know. My mom has stuff, and so we're gonna totally donate some stuff.
It goes to a good cause.
That is so great. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Having me.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend. Playing pretend, playing pretend, ooh, playing pretend.
It's a mystery.
Hi, I'm Sparkle Sujin, and I am the host of the Everything Sparkle Show. I would like to invite you to come and hang out with me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, as I interview the world one guest at a time. Everything Sparkle is available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and CMAC.tv. Plus, if you're in the Central California area, you can watch on Comcast Xfinity Channel 93 or AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Hope to see you there.